Okay, Kathy. So what you need to do is when you want to put these paw prints, I'm just going to open up the paw print real quick that you sent to me. Okay. And let me just go to a different view here. Let's see, where did I save it? I saved it in downloads, I think. Let me get it real quick. Okay, so I'm going to take a screen capture of that because it's actually a web thing. All right, so I'm going to file, save as, and I'm just going to save this in downloads. So what I'm doing is I'm saving it as a PNG because the software has no ability to download the version that you sent. The version you sent was WEBP, which is a web print. So we can't open that up into the software. So let me bring in the art here. So I'm going to open image. I'm going to bring in that paw print. And I think what you wanted is the paw print to go through the heart. And the problem that you're having is when you put the stones in the paw print that it puts a lot of red stones underneath, okay? And that's going to be a problem, okay? So there's a couple things that we want to do. Number one, we don't want to put stones in here yet, okay? But what I'm going to do is we need a graphic for the heart. And I'm going to right click on this. I'm just going to go ahead and convert this hotfix object to a vector object. Okay, there's the vector. So I'm going to get rid of the stones. Okay, that gives me the heart. And then we have this. So both graphics need to be a vector. Okay, now this is not a vector file. This is a JPEG. Okay, if I change the background color to something other than white, you'll see that the difference is the heart is a vector that has no white background, but the paw print has a white background. So we need to convert it to a vector. So I'm going to just change this back to a white background. And the steps to do that is first you want to prepare it first, okay? So if you click on your object, just like I did, it's done unselected, now it is selected. And the first thing I want to do is I want to crop this to get this line out of it, okay? So if you click on it, if we go to view, layout, there's crop image here. So what I'm going to be able to do is draw. I'm going to go from here all the way across and try not to get that line on the right hand side of the paw print. Just make sure your bounding box is around everything and then hit enter. And there. So I got rid of a lot of it. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to convert this to vector is when you select it, you're going to go to layout and you reduce the colors, okay? The reason why we do this is because all JPEG images, like low resolution images, will have a lot of different colors embedded in it. It's not all black. If we zoom into it, we'll see grays, okay? So right now I'm going to tell it to show up to 32 colors and you can see all those different shades of grays that it's seeing. Well, we want to reduce this down to the two colors that are in the image, the white background and the black paw print. So you reduce the image to two colors and then re-hit filter. All right, and then we hit return. That's step one of converting to a vector. We've got to clean the image file first. The next step is we can convert it to a vector. And the first thing I do is I always click the filter to see the colors that it's seeing. And the next step is we want to choose a transparent layer. There's two colors in this image. There's a black and there's a white. The transparent is what's going to be omitted once the black paw print is a vector. So we are going to we're going to select the white to be a transparent layer. So it's going to omit it from the vector. Click on vectorize and then we can hit return. And now when we put our background color to anything other than white, we can see that we no longer have that white background. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this in. And we can hold the control button and rotate it. We're going to make them kind of go through the heart, just like this. Okay. And I'm going to can right click on my mouse and copy, and I'm going to right click and hit paste. And I'm going to bring another one in. Right click, paste, bring another one in. So we're kind of like walking all the way through the heart there, okay? And it's kind of cool to be off the heart too. Now what we want to do is we want to cut these paw print shapes out of our red heart. To do that, you select all the objects. Either draw a box around it, or you could hit Control and A on your keyboard, and everything will be selected. Then you want to right-click and use your Combine tool to simplify the graphic. Okay, now what simplify the graphic means, it's basically going to cut these shapes out of that heart, just like we did this there, okay? So we move this heart away. You can see that we have the paw prints cut out of the shape. Now this would be cool if the shirt it's going on is going to be a black shirt, okay? It'll actually show the shirt color can be the paw print. So it'll look like this. If I change the background color to black, you'll see that the paw prints will already be in black, and you don't have to use any spangle in there, okay? But if we're going on a light color garment, let's say we're going on to like a pink garment, okay, then obviously we are going to need those blacks in there, okay? So what we want to do now is we are going to convert the heart first, okay? So I'm going to go to Hotfix. I'm going to choose you got a 3mm and a 2mm. The object of when you're doing layers like this is always use the same size, okay, between both colors, okay? A 3mm red heart spangle will overlap a lot of the 2mm, okay? And when you resolve your overlaps, okay, you're going to have a lot of gaps there you have to deal with. So I'll use a 2, since my paw prints are very small, I'm going to use a 2mm silver on all the paw prints, and I'm going to use a 2mm for the red, okay? It's just the way I do my layers just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my 2mm, click on the heart, and I'm going to go to Smart Design and then go ahead and do the fill. Okay, let's take a look at that. And you can see what it does. It works its way around those paw prints, okay? So we're no longer going to have that problem, okay? So I'll just go ahead and adjust my bead spacing. I'll go to 2. That kind of gives me a nicer fill. You know, this kind of stuff right here, I'll just go ahead. This is where I spend a lot of time, where I'll just move, right-click, insert, start building these neutral areas up with some extra spangle that I may need. I'll put one here. Hit the escape button to drop my spangle, move these aside so I got the room for it. And that kind of clears up that neutral area where I have a blank spot. I'll just go through it to see where else I need. Like my eyes go right to here. I always zoom out. And wherever my eyes go, that's where I'm going to go and adjust. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to fill in neutral areas. When you're zoomed in, you kind of see all the problems where you want to put spangle, and you could waste a lot of time doing that. And if you just zoom out, if your eyes don't go to it or notice it, then it's not going to be noticeable on the shirt either. So pick your battles on how much work you want to do. So my eyes did go to this area, so I'll just move these. Again, I'm in Edit Hotfix, which is this tool on the left sidebar. Once you move, you can right-click, hit Insert, and put your spangle there. I'll come over here and I'll put one here and then drop by hitting the Escape button. I drop my spangle that I was holding, and I can move these around just to make sure it's some nicer fill. This is where most of the time comes in of trying to make it look correct. And remember that one design I did of that African American hair, that took a long time to do this because I had some layers that went on there. So let's go ahead and go over here, just move this over, just make a little bit of room just by moving spangles. Don't move them so close that they're touching, okay? Because you'll wind up making more neutral areas that way. All right, so move this one up, move this one over. Just want to get one in here. So you can spend a lot of time doing that, going through it just to make it perfect. You know what I mean? All right, so that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and go back out to my image. And the first thing I want to do is I want to go and choose my 2mm spangle. And we are going to use the fill. And this time I'm going to use my autocomplete tool because it gives me a magic wand that allows me to select just the black areas, okay? I'm holding my control button so I could select all these black areas at one time, just like I just there. See, they're all selected. Then I can hit enter. And now we can go back and edit those, okay? So I'm just going to click on, I'm going to turn off the auxiliary and change my background color to a black because it's kind of a light colored spangle I'm using. I can see it better. And sometimes you just can't, it won't let you select it. You have to click around until you select it, and then we'll just adjust this to 2. We'll do the same thing for all of them. See, now I'm on the red. The red is displayed here. So I'm going to click again, click in different areas until it selects the section you're looking for. See, now we're on the silver. So I'm going to set this to 2. And we'll do it to the last part right here. Now, the reason why I like to use 2mm with 2mm, you're going to see that behind those silvers, okay, I have a red, okay? And when I do my overlap, so let's go ahead and we're going to set them all to 2, okay? So I'm just going to click on this section here. I'm going to set all my bead spacings to 2. Now, the best way to do this is just open up your object manager, and you have your red area here, and here's all your silvers, okay? So click on the first one, click on the last one, so they're all selected, and down here is your bead spacing. Just set them all to 2. Hit enter. Now if you look, you see the red lines up perfectly behind those silvers, okay? So when I do my overlaps, I'm not going to see too much distortion of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hotfix, go to Solve Overlap, and you want to make sure this margin is set to 0, okay? So because the higher this number is, like if I go to 12, it's going to see more overlaps than what are there. See, it shows everything's an overlap there. So you want to be careful, make sure that you're only showing true overlaps, okay? So now, see, that was a real problem there. I'm just going to hit OK here, and we'll set this to 0. I got a couple things open. There we go. Let me see. Now, it crashed on me. So there we go. I'm just going to clear that out. And I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, so let's... I'm just going to solve them. All right, that message is coming up because I have a setting on and I should have it off. All right, so let's just go ahead and close this down. I'm just going to right click and go to my task manager. Close it down so I get out of the error, because it'll be an endless error. So I'm going to open it up again. It should open up my last project that I was working on. Okay. Just going to change my background color to gray so it's a little easier on my eyes. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to choose our 2mm. Let me just check and see. Okay, so let me click on the red. It's set to 2. That's good. We still have those pieces that we have to put in here. Insert. Let me go ahead and go to 2mm. Put one there. And let's go up here. Let's put one here. Drop my stone, my spangle. Move that away. Go over here. Move them around a little bit. Insert spangle. And up here, we're just going to move this one up here. This one. Try to get two of them in here. Just make the room. Insert. One there. One here. Hit the escape button to drop your spangles that you're holding. And we'll place them in there. Okay, so let's turn back on the image. I'm going to choose now my 2mm. Click on my fill. Auto-complete. I'm going to hold my control button. I'm going to click on all these black sections. Make sure you click right in the middle of the black section so you don't accidentally click on the heart. Okay, enter. Go back to select object. We're going to open up the object manager. Okay. And we'll turn off the auxiliary so we're only looking at stone information. Click on the first one. Click on the last one. And we are going to adjust the bead spacing to 2 right here. So I have the same bead spacing on the red and on the clear. Okay. So make sure that's right. Yeah, and they're all good. So next thing we're going to do, we are going to solve our overlaps. And we solve. Change our background color now to black because we're dealing with lighter color elements. And we might have to put a couple in here. So go back to your edit. Right click, insert, choose the spangle. Place them in there. I'll place this one right here. I may move this one up here, place another one right in here. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It just has to look complete. See, I'm not going to move any. I'm fine with the way it looks right there. Let's go ahead and move this one down, this one over, that one up, this one over, that one over. A little bit more on this one. Right click, insert. Place one right there. Again, I'm zooming out, zooming in to where I see problems. 1, 2, move this one up. Make room for another one right in here. Right click, insert. Let's come up here. We'll finish this one up. I'll put one right here, move this one down. And the rest of it's all maintenance. Just trying to make it look as clean as possible. Put one here, I'll put one here, but then I'll drop my spangle by hitting the escape button. Move these down. Come up here, let's go ahead and fix this in here. This doesn't look right. One right here, one right here. Put one right there, and we'll move this one down, give it a little bit more room. Move this one down. Insert one here. So you don't want to go too much, okay? You'll spend a lot of time moving spangles to try to get it exactly no open areas, but you know, with a design this large, you'll wind up spending days on it trying to get it to look just right. And you really got to make sure that you're zooming out to 100%. And if your eyes see something that you should change, then go ahead and only do the work on that area to make it look right. Otherwise, you could spend a lot of time making your designs and not enough time punching them out on the machine. So let me just move these in just a little bit because it's the top of the heart. There we go. So let's go ahead and deal with this one now. Insert, we'll choose 2mm. Move these down a little bit. Be the red one there. And I just right click to get that tool to insert another spangle there just to make it look right. So you see my cursor's arrow. If I hit I set it up so my F1 becomes a hand. It's this tool right here that lets me drag down. I get the F1 again. I can now move spangles. To set that, if you go to File and you go to Options, Customize Shortcut, look for the hand tool in this list. It's going to be down towards the bottom. There it is, called Pan. And you see I have F1 selected. So just in here, just press the F1 button and click on the check mark. And now when you go back to your artwork, now you can stay zoomed in and turn off the hand whenever you want. Hit the F1, it's off. Oh, I have to go back and set it again. I must have turned it off. Yeah, I did. Pan is F1, check mark. Now it's assigned. So now the F1 allows me to toggle between the cursor where I can move spangles and F1 where I can just left click and drag my screen so I can go to a different area to work on it. It kind of helps me speed up my production time in how I create. So I'll move these in, move this one in, move this one in a little bit. Just want to make a little bit of room just to connect the red here. But I'm trying to keep the same space between the silvers so it doesn't look like dissimilarity between one paw to the other. I'll probably put one right here, bring this one down, bring this one over. Sometimes you start working on an area and you realize that. So I'm just going to bring this down, just separate them a little bit more so it looks like it's not empty there. And this one here needs to go here. That one needs to go there, closer with that one. I'll move this one over here. We're going to go to 2, and then to a 1. We'll add another one in here. We'll go to a 2, side by side. There we go. That's pretty good. My eyes are going right to here, so I'm just going to address this. And we'll do 2 here. And transition to a single spangle here, single spangle here, and another single spangle here. I wasn't going to do this, but after working on the other sections, I can see that now to look consistent throughout the whole print, we definitely want to make sure that there's red intersecting, connecting from one red area to another red area. So most of your time is spent doing this, like maintenance and making it look consistent. I'll move this one up, this one over, that one over, this one down here, right click, insert one when I'm ready. And there we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, so now we'll just save this. So I always do this. I go here. I delete unused beads. Okay, now one way you can do this by clicking on the drop-down list here. Just delete unused beads. So you're only saving what you create, what you used. We'll also go in, turn off the hotfix, and then we'll delete our graphic. We no longer need it. And now we save this. So it's called Heart with Dog Paws. I'm just going to save as. Save it, so I forget where I saved it to. I think it's in downloads. Okay. All right, and I'll email this to you, okay, as well as the video. So I hope this was hope I answered all your questions on how I approach these type of layered artworks.